Are you someone who's invested in the Sonos ecosystem, but you want to use a speaker independent of any of the Sonos products? So you do have an option, the Sonos Amp. So you can power any speakers using this amp, but the question is it worth its money? Let's find out. So this is the amp, and it's actually quite small considering what power it can deliver. So this amplifier can deliver up to 125 watts per channel. So that's rather impressive, I'll say. On the front, you see it has 3 capacitive buttons. On the top, there's a heat vent as well as the bottom. Essentially, you can stack multiple amps. That's what they are designed to do. And there would be heat dissipation for each one of them. On the back here, you see there are 4 binding posts. Now, these basically come out. I don't know what the use for this is, but yeah, they come out. And you have line-in, you have a sub-out, 2 Ethernet ports, and 1 HDMI ARC. And finally, you have the power cable, which goes here. So the build quality, I would say, I mean, it is heavy, no doubt about that, but it does feel plasticky. It's built solid, but the feel that you get when you touch the amp, it's not very reassuring. I mean, I would rather have this in metallic finish rather than this matte plastic which is going around. It doesn't feel the price that it's asking for. But the front is rather quite decent. The top, on the other hand, as you can see, it has stains. So yeah, I mean, the material selection for the amp itself is, I would say, rather poor. But overall, the build quality does seem good. When it comes to sound performance, it is a very neutral amp. It delivers what it says it delivers. It delivers it cleanly and without any bias. These are not warm, these are not bright, these are neutral. Neutral, clean power, and just delivering what is asked of these amps. The power which is rated, that's rated at 125 watts at 8 ohms. I have connected speakers at 6 ohms. I think around 100 watts. That's the power recommendation for those speakers, the ELAC Debut B6.2. And I've connected 8 ohm speakers as well, and I've had no problems. All the way right up to 90 dBs. No problem. The amplifier delivers what exactly it says it will. So when it comes to performance, absolutely no problems here. Smart home features. Now Sonos is famous for that, multi-room audio and integration within the Sonos lineup as well. Now this amp can be used to power up just a stereo system, like a 2.1 system, or it can be used with your existing Sonos ARC to power up dedicated Atmos speakers. And let's say if you have Era 300s and you have a pair of speakers that you want to use as fronts, then you can just connect this amp with those speakers, run an HDMI ARC to your TV, and you have essentially a 4.0 system or a 4.1. It cannot power a center channel speaker. So you are limited to a 2.1 setup with this. So be mindful. Now, when you are buying an amplifier which is worth 70,000-80,000, you really want to protect your investment for the foreseeable future. At least I would want to. Now, this amp doesn't have any physical buttons. It's just dependent on the Sonos app. Everything is. From configuration to tweaking any settings, it's just dependent on the Sonos app. And over the years, as you've seen, the Sonos app has just deteriorated. And let's say 10 years down the line, if the company doesn't exist, then support for the Sonos Amp will not exist as well. That doesn't put me at ease for sure. They should have given some physical buttons on this so that you have the ability to at least control it. The more interesting thing with this is it doesn't have any Bluetooth. Without the app, their services and the ecosystem, this amp is useless. You need the Sonos app to configure this, to run this. So I would say that's a miss. I mean, if I am paying for an amp this expensive, I would want the peace of mind that this amp is forever. This is mine. I don't want it to be dependent on some app. So whom is this amp for? Now, this amp is for people who are already invested in the Sonos ecosystem. I would not recommend this amp to someone who is not invested in the Sonos ecosystem, because this would be a terrible first buy when it comes to Sonos. So let's say you have 5 speakers or even 2 speakers for that matter of Sonos, and you just want to power up, let's say, another pair of bookshelf speaker. Now, you don't want to add another brand amplifier because it will not integrate with the other Sonos products. You want to keep it within the Sonos family, and you want those speakers to perform cleanly. Then yes, this is a good way to go. You are kept within the Sonos ecosystem, you can power it, and I think this can drive pretty much any speaker available on the market. It doesn't matter whether you have an ELAC or a Bowes & Wilkins or a Wharftail, it can power up a pair of speakers. Definitely. Even floor standing speakers, it shouldn't have a problem. So when it comes to power, I have no complaints there. And just if you are invested in the Sonos ecosystem, only and only then invest into this product. The Sonos Amp is a modern powerhouse, but it does trade convenience over features. And if you are invested in the Sonos ecosystem, then this would be a decent addition. You are trading a bit of independence when it comes to the Sonos Amp. You are being dependent on the app itself, but it will integrate with the other Sonos products seamlessly. You will not have a problem there. And that's my verdict.